BLUELOCK's Neo Egoist League is about to end, which means we are getting our final Japan U20 team for the World Cup. This includes the top 23 players from BLUELOCK, the best of the best, with some characters being an obvious choice and others fighting for the last few spots. Some unexpected players might make it, some popular characters might fail, and since we are so close to the final salaries being released, this is gonna be the most accurate salary ranking we've done. This is so important because these 23 players are pretty much the final 23 for the rest of the series, so we'll be going over every character who will make it, their final salaries, and their role for the upcoming World Cup. Even though every player has a quote-unquote chance of making the team, we just know some characters are pretty much guaranteed to make it. You don't need to put on a tinfoil hat or activate some neurons to know Isagi Yoichi is gonna make the team. Because of that, we'll be going from top to bottom, the number 1 to the number 23, which means we are getting straight into BLUELOCK's number 1, the highest salary and the best player in all of the Neo Egoist League. Now, there is 2 contenders for the number 1 spot currently, and that is the current number 1 Itoshi Rin versus the one trailing right behind him, Isagi Yoichi. In order to rise up the ranks and actually increase your salary, there are 2 main components here. The first one being goals and how you made it. For example, the lowest we've seen for a single goal scored was 17 million, and the highest we've seen is 88 million. This is because flashiness or execution of the goal is a huge factor in salaries, and the next thing that affects salaries would have to be your impact on the game. So your salary can both increase and decrease based on what you do, not just goals. And some examples of that would be assists, defending, and overall flexibility. We just needed to get that out of the way though, so that it explains how I give players salary increases or decreases and their ranks. But getting back to Rin versus Isagi, this isn't a battle of tortoise versus hare. This is a battle of hare versus hare. It's not even a battle for the number 1 spot. Rin wants to kill Isagi. Both of these players are playing in the last game against each other, and even though Rin is above Isagi by 48 million, Isagi does have 1 goal already in this match, and Rin has none. So Isagi was playing catch up a little bit, and now they are on equal playing field, so it comes down to who will be scoring the next goals to actually take the number 1 spot. With Rin currently active in destroyer mode and right in front of the goal, I think he will score 1, which makes the score between Bastard and PXG tied at 2-2. And then to claim the number 1 spot between the two, I think Isagi will score the last goal, which will give him a high enough salary to beat out Rin just marginally with the 250 million salary. So yeah, I personally think Isagi will be BLUELOCK's number 1. His performance is insane in PXG, a super flashy goal which we know gives high salaries, followed by defensive and offensive feats as well. His presence throughout the whole match has been undeniable. Karasu quite literally calls him the game's protagonist. The tide was in his favor, which also forced Kaiser to evolve, and Rin is solely focused on beating Isagi as well. I think Isagi will wrap it up with 1 final goal to beat out Rin after losing to him all this time. It'd be a good setup to have him lead the Japan U20 team as BLUELOCK's number 1, and he is our protagonist as well. And if you want to be number 1, hit the subscribe button and become an OG before all the BLUELOCK Season 2 hype comes in and we get a new wave of people. Of course, subscribe as well for everything BLUELOCK related, just like this video. Anyways, Isagi being number 1 also means that Rin comes in second, which hurts for me to say because Rin is one of my favorite characters, but we are basing it off of accuracy here and not just personal bias. I think Rin beating Isagi for what, the 4th time in a row isn't really good development, especially when they're hyping up Isagi to be a completely different character because of the NEL. They're definitely gonna flip the script here, and I think both Rin and Isagi's goals are gonna be worth 50 million each. With Rin having 1 goal and Isagi having 2 goals, that means their respective salaries are 248 million for Rin and 250 million for Isagi. That being said, Rin has done a pretty good amount towards the first half of the match, like stopping Kaiser and the Kaiser impact, and then he just disappeared towards the second half, like the boogeyman, as if he was some sort of ghost. I even heard some people saying that Rin wasn't even gonna score a goal this match, which means Isagi takes the number 1 spot with no effort. It wouldn't have even been a debate. They treated Rin and Destroyer mode as if he was some sort of myth, and to be honest, it was kind of looking like that when he just disappeared towards the middle of the match. But now is his time to shine 100% as he is now in Destroyer mode, which I believe will lead to a goal, and that will give him the 248 million salary, just being edged out by Isagi by 2 million. It definitely makes sense as well. Rin is probably the best player or second best player in all of BLUELOCK, so these two being close and taking the numbers 1 and 2 spot makes a lot of sense. Coming in at our number 3 spot, or the 3rd best player in all of the Neo Egoist League, it's gonna be barou, who has an 150 million salary. Now, barou already played all his games in Ubers, which which means his 150 million salary is his final salary. This is the case for all the Ubers players as well. They can no longer increase it. He is tied for second with Isagi, and obviously Isagi is playing and he's not, so that means he can't rise up anymore. But I don't think anyone else will overtake him. He has the most goals scored in the NEL at 7 goals, so he's pretty much guaranteed a third spot here. You would definitely want Barou as a player for the U20 team as well. He would most likely play as a left wing to shoot into the top right corner, but he also has experience playing in the right wing. Like in the U20, he's pretty flexible in those positions. Winger is perfect for him. I doubt all of BLUELOCK would obey him like the Ubers. There's too much ego going on there, so I don't think he would be a striker. It allows him to devour everyone in front of him as well as score goals, so that's definitely going to be Barou's role. All right, number 4, I'm going to be putting Shido Ryusei here, the Zesty Demon, the Fraud, whatever you want to call him. He definitely deserves to be up here. He is currently ranked 4th, is still playing, and has an 100 million salary, and he also scored a goal this match, so that's plenty for why he's up here. I will agree though that Shido is doing a whole lot of nothing. He is serving us a nothing sandwich because he can't get past one person, and the header goal wasn't anything new from him. We went from Big Bang Drive to a header goal. This was more disappointing than the New Age Avengers. We also just saw Shido scoring a header goal, so for Shido, the one person with out-of-the-box crazy shots, to do just a header goal, it was completely lackluster for his character. That still doesn't take away the fact that he made a goal though. I would say his ending salary is 125 million, 20 million for the goal, and another 5 for his contributions. I do think we'll see more of Shido and maybe another goal attempt. Regardless, he's still going to be ending at our number 4 spot. So far, all of these characters are pretty much the same ranks as the current salaries, but now we're stirring up the pot and mixing it up. Coming in at our number 5 spot at 100 million, I'm placing Nagi Seishiro. If you already forgot about Nagi, he was currently sitting at the 11th spot at a 40 million salary. So you might be wondering if I got a few screws loose or if I was the Soju Sergeant because I must have been drunk putting him up here. But I actually think Nagi will make a huge comeback from the Munchen City versus Barca game. We were teased about it a lot. Rayo said he was going to do something about it as well. And we've seen Nagi get a stupid high salary just for 1 goal. So I'm putting all my bets and stocks into the all-time low Nagi Seishiro. I think he will score at least 2 goals this match, giving him 60 million more on top of the 40 million that he already has. Considering that all of Nagi's goals are super flashy and he got 88 million for just 1 goal, I don't think 60 million for 2 goals is jumping the horse that much. This is all betting on the fact that Nagi's gonna have a newfound ego or motivation, which was hinted at with Rayo, so I believe in the boy. I'll talk about it more when we discuss about Rayo and where he's at, whether his salary increases or decreases because of his relationship with Nagi. But Nagi is one of the fan favorites, so I can't see him absolutely dropping the ball again, so he'll most likely have a redemption in the final match. Another player who was in that match is our 6th spot, which is Bachira. Technically, he's ranked number 5 as well because I think he'll end with an 100 million salary, tied with Nagi. Bachira is taking FC Barca on a hike and carrying them in his backpack because bro is literally the only talent there. Bachira should get a higher salary simply due to the fact that he has to play with players like Atoya and Dairai Miroku. But we're basing it off accuracy, and Bachira has a pretty high salary already. Currently at 79 million, I think Bachira will score 1 goal in this match. He has scored 1 in every single match, and he's been consistently good throughout the NEL and just BLUELOCK as a whole. So even though I think Barca will lose to Munchen and Nagi, I still think individually Bachira will get a 21 million increase, leaving him at 100 million as his final salary. 100 million is definitely not something to laugh at. Considering Bachira also has the solo carry, it does validate Nagi being back on top. He's equal with insane players like Bachira, so I think that's how that'll play out. Alright, ranked at number 7 is gonna be another mix-up. I'm placing Kunigami here at a 65 million salary. Kunigami is already at a 50 million salary, and with him being Shido's guard dog, he's showing off way more versatility, both being an offensive and defensive player. Honestly speaking though, it's solely because he's guarding one of PXG's aces and showing off his versatility that he's getting a higher salary like this. He hasn't, and I don't think will, score a goal in PXG, so that means his defensive and midfield feats are gonna have to carry him to a higher salary. And we know that goals are the thing that give you those big salary increases than just the regular midfielder stuff. So I think they'll increase it only by 15 million. Kunigami's character really feels like a Scooby-Doo mystery at this point. I genuinely have no clue for what they're gonna do with his character because they turned him into a defensive midfielder. At this point, give Kunigami another resurrection and hopefully he'll come back actually good and with a backstory. It's genuinely shocking how we haven't gotten the wildcard story yet. Number 8 following right behind Kunigami and yet again tied is Chigiri, who will end ranked number 7, like him, with a 65 million salary. Chigiri already has a 55 million salary, and I think Munchen versus Barcha will be focused on Nagi and Ryo and their whole development rather than Chigiri. So unfortunately, due to plot, he is getting sidelined. I will say though, he definitely deserves a higher salary, but they'll give him an extra 10 million for his efforts. Even though he only got a 5 million increase for the last match, I think they'll do 10 million this time around. That way he is equal to Kunigami, and that will continue their rivalry and stuff. So yeah, I think they'll be equal. Gary will definitely be an interesting character during the U20 World Cup because he can contend for the whole left side either as a wingback or a winger. I think we'll definitely get more Chigiri development towards that, but during the Neo Egoist League, not so much. Number 9 is going to be another super interesting one. I'm actually putting Mikage Ryo here at a 64 million salary. So this one is super different than the current salary list, which is why the final standings matter so much and why I'm making this video in the first place, because underrated players can move higher up and push some really good players down, and some of the other characters can come out of nowhere and overtake some of the current safe players, which we'll get to towards the end when we talk about our last few spots. Anyways, coming back to Ryo, I'm putting him up here because I genuinely believe in him as well. I think he will split with Nagi to do his own thing as hinted before, and because of that, score his own goal. We saw a little bit of Ryo's Chameleon Striker mode towards the start of Munchen versus Bastard, and then nothing about it after. So I can definitely see him using that again. And because of that, I think Nagi and Ryo will actually become rivals fighting for the goal, so it gives Nagi some motivation and also helps Ryo get his salary up because bro was on the brink of death. Ryo could really buy Bluelock and go ban for ban, but he's literally on the verge of elimination. His current salary is 34 million, which is pretty low. So for him to score a goal, something we haven't seen from Ryo, as well as that whole abandoning Nagi plotline, I do think it makes sense for Ryo to score a goal and give him a 30 million salary increase. Keep in mind that Ryo was one of the top goal scorers during the first selection and almost made a goal at the start of Munchen. He is also one of the characters that is said to be flexible in any position, so him scoring a goal honestly isn't even a whack-a-mole theory. Next up is an obvious one. Aiku at 60 million. Since he is in the Ubers, this is his final salary, so he'll end up at our 10th spot. The best defender in all of BLUELOCK. It's no doubt he'll start for Japan's U20 team during the World Cup. Another side note, Aiku has the highest salary without scoring any goals. If that doesn't tell you how insane he is, then I don't know what will. Coming in at 11th is someone who still shocks me that he is up here. Atoya at this point deserves an award for being up here. Atoya's salary is half charity, half deserved. I will be putting him at a 50 million salary, which is an 8 million increase than his current 42 million. He already has a relatively high salary, so I guess you can say I'm donating to the Atoya Foundation by giving him even more. But he is playing in the last Barcha game and averages a 14 million increase for every single match, which is kind of nuts. I don't think Atoya will score in the last game. I think it'll just be Bachara, but maybe he'll assist Bachara, and even if he did score, I think it just increases salary, but his rank would remain the same at the 11th spot. I swear to God, Atoya is just a filler character because what are they going to do with him? Unless he starts teleporting across the field, I see no realistic way to play him when you have other options. Rank number 12 is going to be Karasu, an actual viable player, but just due to plot, we have to put him down here. Karasu isn't scoring any goals, and he is also on a team with both Shido and Rin, so it's kind of hard to outshine them. Regardless though, he has a pretty high salary for solely a midfielder. He's currently at 35 million, and I think it will increase to 48 million. We see him in the PXG game doing a lot. I would say he's the third most impactful BLUELOCK character, right behind Rin and Shido. We see him assisting, passing to Charles, even stealing possession a few times. And when you have the other trash can friends like Zantetsu, Tokimitsu, and Nanase, Karasu definitely sticks out as the best. I can also see him starting in the Japan U20, so there's no way he wouldn't make the cut. Rank number 13, I think, will be Ryu Jubei, who currently has a 45 million salary. His salary isn't going to go any further than what it currently is, just due to the fact that he's played all his games. Ryu has always been one of the more underrated characters, winning 1v1 duels and stuff like that, and length is always good to have on defense. So I would say his salary is definitely deserved, and if the World Cup actually needs 3 goalkeepers like the real World Cup, I can see him being a substitute. Alright, our 14th best player or 14th spot is going to be Corona Ronse, and I think he'll be at a 44 million salary, so a 10 million increase. Corona started to play in the PXG game during the midway point after the score was tied 1-1, so he wasn't able to play the whole game. I don't think Corona is putting up as good of a performance as he did in Munchen or Ubers, where he was pretty instrumental to Isagi's goals and his game playing. And Hiyori is also in, so I guess the both of them are technically competing against each other. Regardless though, I think his salary will still increase by 10 million because I do believe him and Hiyori will assist Isagi, scoring the last goal for Bastard. And since we just mentioned Hiyori, let's move on to him as well. I'm placing Hiyori at the number 15 spot with the 40 million salary. There is only 8 more spots left, and I'm going to be putting Hiyori at the 15 spot. Now, Hiyori is actually on the low side currently. He has a 20 million salary, and this is just due to the fact that he only played one game, and like one half of a game at that. So now that Hiyori is getting his full highlight playing for the rest of the match, and already has 1 assist in the game, we can definitely see his salary going up drastically. We also seen him defend against Rin and beat out Charles, so it isn't just 1 assist that makes Hiyori go up in salary. Personally speaking, I think Hiyori is a stronger player than Corona, but the system we're judging on is salary, and because Hiyori has played less game and just less time on the field, I think the 15 spot below Corona is a good place for him. Alright, these upcoming numbers have already played or are not playing anymore, so we can go through them a little faster and talk about what you've all been waiting for, the players at the bottom of the leaderboard. Those players are the one who are fighting for a spot in the Japan U20 team. The question everyone is wondering about, who is going to make it and who is going to be eliminated. But firstly, let's talk about number 16. I'm placing Nico here. Being in the Ubers means that he can't play any other game, so his current 40 million salary places him here. Number 17 is someone who's actually playing. That's going to be Gagamaru. Technically, he is ranked number 16 along Nico because I'm putting him at a 40 million salary too. This means he has an $8 million increase in the Ubers game, even though he has some insane blocks. He only got a 4 million increase, which is kind of sad. I think goalkeepers wouldn't get that high of a salary increase, which does make sense, but even then, I think Gagamaru will still block a few shots in this PXG game. Maybe Rin in destroyer mode or Shido if he gets another goal attempt, so that'll definitely increase his salary. Number 18 is going to be Sendo. He punched his ticket in when he scored the last goal in Ubers, which gave him a 37 million salary. And number 19 is going to be Yukimiya, who isn't playing in Bastard vs PXG, and I don't think he'll get subbed on either, so he's sitting at 36 million. Alright, we are down to our final 4 spots, and there are really 6 players up for debate here. So 2 out of the 6 I mentioned here are going to be eliminated. Let's first start talking about Nanase, who is currently ranked at 24th and also playing in PXG. Fukaku Gen, who is currently ranked number 19th, but all of his games are done, so he can't increase it anymore. Then there's Kiora, who is not even on the board, but he just made an assist to Kaiser, who scored off of that. Raichi, who is at the cutoff currently being ranked 23rd and is also playing in the PXG match. And then lastly, Zantetsu, who is tied for 20th with Tokimitsu. They're both playing in the PXG match as well. Alright, so 6 players and 4 spots. The first one being ranked 20th. I believe this will be Nanase. Out of all the choices here, I think he is probably the one doing the most. He's been assisting Rin with his ambidextrous legs and literally went up against Kaiser. That development is genuinely crazy to me. I thought he was going to be eliminated for sure, but it seems like the author is giving him more screen time because he wants him to survive. He currently has a salary of 16 million. I think they'll give him a 12 million salary for a final salary of 29 million. Again, Nanase has done more than the other players he's going up against for the last spot, like Raichi, Zantetsu, and Tokimitsu. And one of these 3 will be our 21st spot. Coming in at number 21, it's going to be Raichi. I think he'll be at 28 million, which means he gets a 10 million increase from the PXG game. Now, honestly, I don't think Raichi has done too much in this game. Like Hiyori, he's only played in 2 matches as well, so his salary is on the lower end. And it doesn't help that he's done nothing but a few passes and presses in the PXG match. Compare that to everyone else, he has the weakest showing out of all the Bastard players so far, even Kiora. His role was literally taken by Kunigami. The only thing Raichi has really done this match was get passed by Itoshi Rin. Because of that, I've seen people say that they think Raichi will get eliminated so that one of the quote-unquote main characters gets eliminated, someone from Team Z. But Raichi already has an 18 million salary, and realistically, I can see him doing some hard work. Maybe against Loki, like how he tried to go up against Snuffy. Going against 2 Master Strikers would definitely catch the eyes of some people and give him a higher salary because of that. So I think he'll be ending at a 28 million salary. And someone who also has a 28 million salary, it's none other than Fukaku Gen at our 22nd spot. Now this is purely for plot, the second goalkeeper rule. I seriously cannot think of a single redeeming quality for this guy. Fukaku Gen is infamous for being bad. How he got that much in the first place is shocking to me already, but the fact that they keep showing him and even placed him this high in the first place, it's pretty much confirmation he is living. So unfortunately, we do have to waste a spot here for a second goalkeeper. I'm not gonna lie, just put Hiryo here. This guy's a waste of space. I think Fukaku will act as some sort of cutoff though, so that it raises the tension for the last spot. Because now there are 3 players who are fighting for that last 23rd spot. We have Tokimitsu, Kiora, and Zantetsu. Every single one of these players are currently playing in the PXG match. Tokimitsu and Zantetsu are tied at the same salary, having 23 million, which is already near the cutoff. And Kiora literally has no salary, so he is starting from scratch. So I kind of feel bad for bro. The thing that Kiora does have over Tokimitsu and Zantetsu is at least he's playing the game. I mean, they're all playing the game, but Kiora is doing something. Most recently, Kiora got an assist to Kaiser, the backspin prediction where he bet on Kaiser rather than Isagi. Because of that, Kaiser got his super goal with Magnus, and Kiora got an insane assist because of that. Kaiser also dropped Ness, and it's hinted that he's gonna start utilizing Kiora. And we also got Kiora development that whoever side he chooses, they will win, so he might be a pivotal key in the last goal. If that's actually the case and we see Kiora get 2 assists in 1 game, I could realistically see him getting a high enough salary, but can that beat out Zantetsu and Tokimitsu, who already have a decently high salary? And to that I say, yes, probably most likely, because Zantetsu and Tokimitsu, if they keep up with how they're playing, they're literally gonna go down in salary. The only thing Zantetsu has done was tackle the ball away from Ness, and then the ball went straight to Hiyori, so Bastard still had the ball at the end of the day. Besides that, he's done absolutely nothing, but he already has a decently high salary, and was also mentioned in the most recent chapter to get Kunigami off of Shido, but that led to nothing so far. And Tokimitsu has done even less than Zantetsu. The only thing I can remember is him getting a touch at the start of the match. Everyone got a touch at the start of the match. Tokimitsu at most will get a participation reward for this match. I don't think he'll do anything, because not even Rin is using him. When he's on Rin's side, he'd rather choose Nanase, which sucks because both of these players do have a lot of potential and they are fan favorites, so will the author choose to develop at least one of them? Because all Zantetsu and Tokimitsu really need is a 5 million or more salary increase to tie or be higher than the rest. Your situation does rely on Zantetsu and Tokimitsu doing absolutely nothing or having such a low salary increase that he can somehow clinch it out and get a higher salary than them. With all the situations discussed, for the 23rd and last spot for Bluelock's final Japan U20 team, I think this will go to Kiora Jin. Kiora has been the only character who has had any significance between the 3, even getting a backstory and development. And if he does end up assisting the next goal, 2 assists in 1 game is really good. 2 assists gave Isagi 33 million during the Munchen match, so that could be the exact same case for Kiora here. Kiora isn't no Isagi though. I think his final salary will be 27 million, which means Tokimitsu and Zantetsu will be below 27 million. With Zantetsu and Tokimitsu currently being at 23 million, I think the both of them will get the 24th spot, just barely missing out on it and ending with a 26 million total, so a 3 million increase. This is so that it seems very close between the 3. If it was up to me personally, I would decrease Zantetsu and Tokimitsu because they've done nothing. But we've also seen players get a 3 million salary increase for doing nothing. The prime example is Kunigami during the Ubers match. He had 1 block, I think, that whole match and went from 47 to 50 million. So I think because the both of them aren't doing anything in this match as well, and even if they did anything, it wouldn't be anything significant like an assist or a goal, it means that their salary won't be high enough to get into the top 23. There's also another reasoning behind eliminating Tokimitsu and Zantetsu as well. It's because both of the characters we've seen from the early starts of BLUELOCK, so some people may have attachment to them. If every single character that was eliminated was just nobodies, who would really care? Nobody is gonna shed tears at Wanima being eliminated, but Tokimitsu and Zantetsu are kind of secondary characters that people have come to care about. So I think for emotional impact, they'll be eliminated. But anyways, that is every single player that will make BLUELOCK's top 23 or the top 23 players in BLUELOCK, the final Japan U20 team, and all the salary predictions in one single video. If you enjoyed the video and made it to the end, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you all so much. Let me know who you think will make Japan's U20 team, what your final salary predictions are, and if you agree or disagree with me on who will take that last spot. That's it for this one. I'll see you all in the next one.